Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl Shar. Y'all know what time it is. Hit that like button, turn the notification on, and subscribe to the channel because I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Oh man, y'all go ahead and handle your business earlier. Newcomers, flip-floppers, and day ones, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you can jump into this tea here, okay? Have you ever heard of a person drowning with no pressure at all, meaning that nobody puts their hand to push them under the water, nobody invited them to the water, nobody even, a wave didn't even come to even force them under the water, okay? They just solely drowned on their own. And might I add, this is exactly what's happening to Carlos King. My brother is drowning on his own, correction, okay? And with no help of the cast of any of his shows, okay? This, my friend, he is doing completely on his own. And a lot of it stemmed from his ego. His ego has allowed him to not stand for anything, okay? His ego have allowed him to be disturbing, ignorant, incompassionate, right? And the list can go on and on and on, but I won't stay there too long because y'all get it by now, okay? But not only are the small channels talking, but the big channels are talking, and they are breaking it down and ruffling some feathers. And recently I was sent a link to Kim Empire. I think that's the name. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, but here it is. He dug a hole in Carlos' tail. You hear me? He dug a hole, and the young lady that he co-hosts with, she did it collectively together. They did an amazing job, okay? But prior to that, where the whole grooming situation clip was put out, and that was just a little bit too much, right? More than a little bit too much. It was ignorant as hell, right? Well, everybody was talking about it. But because Carlos King wants to make it like I'm just the blogger and I'm not a part of the blog, you're a liar, okay? And how we know that is because big channels like Kim Empire got hit because the footage was there. So they wanted him to remove that portion of the footage. And I'm assuming that many other people probably got hit because everybody had it on their channel. Because like Melody jaw drop, like I can't believe you let somebody type that up, okay? And put it out for the people, right? Everybody was talking about it. So like Melody, who was involved in the story, jaw has dropped. Other people's jaws has dropped as well. So here we are where they wanted him to remove that. So Carlos basically, I don't want to say a strike or because I don't know the outcome of it, but however, they wanted him to remove that footage of it. So I'm listening to Queen Sheba yesterday, and then I went over to his channel to make sure I was hearing what I heard from her correctly, because sometimes I hear what I want to hear, okay? And not because I want to hear it, because I'd be like, y'all taking too long to get to the point, honey. We've already figured this portion of it out. Yeah, my attention span sucks, okay? Okay, don't tell nobody. All right, but with that being said, so I was able to go listen to the both of them. I took about 2 hours out of my day on yesterday to listen to the both of them and get what I need from this conversation. However, when I went over to Queen Sheba channel, Winter has joined the chat, and I'm so glad that she did. And Queen Sheba was going over a couple things like I am from Kim Empire thing, and she was mentioning a couple things, and in the comment section she had wrote, Winter we're talking about, that's why, and I'm paraphrasing because it was something to this extent but not just like this, right? It said that no wonder Angela and Scott left so abruptly. Well, we all know who Angela is, but we weren't quite sure who Scott was. So just like Queen Sheba turned around like, who the hell is that? So did I. I said, who the hell is Scott? I ain't never heard of a Scott now. So I definitely wanted to know, and I'm so glad she accepted the invitation and she was able to come up and have a conversation with Queen Sheba so that Queen Sheba wasn't having this back and forth. Well, do you think in the comment section we could just all just lay it out on the table? So during that time, she dropped bomb at the bomb at the bomb at the bomb. You hear me? All right. And there was no way to escape the explosion because it was going to happen whether we wanted it to or not. Okay. And I'm so glad that the bomb went off. Right. Now, let's go over a few people that left any show that Carlos King had a connection to. And that would have been Sherelle, the Duncans, right? That would have been Winter. That would have been Aikisha from Bell Collective, right? And then we recently just had So Gucci. And then the latest one was Melody Cherie. Baby, he lost some good folks. You hear me? And my point in pointing them out, that's only a few of what we know, right? We don't know about all the other shows he may have his hand in, and people like, I'm not dealing with this kind of treatment, right? But that's only a few of what we know, which says that at this point, we have so many people involved that there's no way it can possibly be the person. It has to be the host of the show, right? The producer of the show, the production team, the ones that's actually formulating all of this mess to make a production, okay? It has to be them, because everybody can't be saying the same thing about one person and be wrong, right? That's what our mama taught us back in grade school. Everybody ain't lying on you now, sir. Now I'm gonna need you to get yourself together, right? So anyway, we go on and we listen to this stuff, and let's go through a couple things that she had a conversation about, and we'll break them down. So she does come up and she talks about Angela. She talks about Angela was in partnership with Carlos King Production, and Angela just out of nowhere sent the cast a text or email rather and says, hey, listen, it's been real, folks, and I'm paraphrasing, but I will no longer be there. And if you need anything, you can reach out. I'm out, right? So abruptly, that's the point that I want to stick at. Abruptly, she said goodbye. And the thing is, when I know at my job, let's just talk about my job, right? When a team member or one of our leaders in the group, right, leave the job, it is the top man in charge, the top company in charge, the head dog in charge, to communicate with those further down the chart to say, hey, this person is no longer with us. We're going to be directing all of our calls or all of our emails this way. If you need anything, yada, yada, yada. But the fact that that never took place, that already gave me some type of red flags, okay? Now, that's just how business works. I don't know how the Kingdom Reign production work, okay? And clearly from that email and nobody knowing or being made aware of it prior to the person themselves that quit, letting them know that's not how they work, okay? With that being said, they get in there and they all start texting each other like, wait a minute, child, what the hell is really going on, right? Did she just quit on us like that? Hell yeah, she quit on y'all like that, okay? So it goes further to say, you know, they go back and forth with each other, but what made it more strange, and y'all just hold on to y'all seats because this is what they talking about, right? They says that not only did they worry about that text, but because so much was going on, so much hell was breaking loose in that moment, so many changes was taking place. They had a lot of new people coming in, new people that they were instructed to contact as their point of contact now. And then they said that this is the big one. They had even stopped getting paid at some point. Wait a minute. Y'all stopped cutting the checks? Now, I know the lady said that she left, which is Angela, right? But what the hell that got to do with the services that the cast members perform that you are still required to pay them? One thing doesn't have nothing to do with the other. So already I'm thinking in my mind, either there's some financial issues that's going on there, or Angela had more control over the financial portion than Carlos King would have liked and given credit to. And maybe they probably just didn't know how to access certain things. Now that's just a leap. Okay, that's a high leap, all right? That's just, I'm like, what is it that they didn't get paid? And why did it take months for you guys to figure out a plan? And when the plan was thought out or orchestrated, because they said that they were reaching out like, what's going on? And the only response that they received back from the team was, we're working on it. Then finally, after some time has passed, they came back and says, look, no warning, no anything, right? This is what we're going to do. We're not going to pay anybody till we're confirmed that you're going to be in the episode. Now that makes me lean more towards a financial issue, because this makes me think that everybody was at the chalkboard like, okay, if we cut this, we can get this. If we cut this, we can get that. If we do this, we could do that. And then we could pay all these people if we cut this. Excuse me. So here's the thing. Everybody stand in front of this chalkboard and try to figure out what can they cut to make sure that they can somehow pay somebody and it won't leave their asses in court, right? So what they did was cut many of scenes out, probably that they really needed to keep. But because the person may have filmed so much, or the person pay may have been higher than the others, I'm just saying, this is just my assumption, they decided to cut them out so that they don't get paid. So here we are, 3 months out of the 6 months that she's saying that they were filming or usually filmed for, you may or may not get paid, okay? She said that Sherelle and her husband have filmed a whole lot of scenes, right? That was cut and she didn't get no pay, or they didn't get paid rather. That's bullshit, right? If they were not your original rules, how dare you change them when you are caught in the middle of something, right? And you're in a financial bond or, situation. You don't get to just change the rules abruptly and miss my payment. Hell to the no, right? So they probably needed Sherelle scenes, but they cut them because, one, she was a higher paid cast member than others, or two, they couldn't afford to pay her for all those scenes. So they took it on the chin and was like, we'll orchestrate this and we'll put this in here and plug that in there and do this, that, settle, right? Rather than just getting the money to pay these folks. And I'm sure Carlos could have came out his pocket to just make it right. Okay. And he has this thing and this chip on his shoulder that says that is my way or the highway. I hate that about him. Okay. But that's his rules. Okay. So here they are 3 months in, and this is the instructions that they get. And this is the way we're going to be moving from now on. And she says normally out of those 6 months, the first 3 months of those 6, they usually was getting paid every single week. So could you imagine expecting a paycheck every week? And for 12 weeks out of that, you are looking for your paycheck and it is nowhere to be found. Baby, if you ain't got it like that, your bills is backed up, okay? If you ain't got no savings, your bills is backed up. If you don't have no family that you can lean on and be like, sis, let me borrow until, baby, you in a whole lot of right? But I'm just saying, this could be, and people come on those shows not having much, expecting to make something out of nothing, and here you are withholding these folks money. 3 months is a long time. That's 12 weeks exactly, right? That's a long time. So anyway, they stopped getting paid with no explanation, right? Then she says that, so then they get to who Scott, because I told you I want to know who the hell Scott is. So apparently Scott was considered a white man, and I hate to do the color thing, but I want to give you guys a glimpse of where I'm going with this, so I'll talk about color, right? So he was a white man, considered to be the executive VP of Kingdom Ring Production, right? And he was basically the go-to person between production and the network, right? So Winter explained that she usually go to him when something is wrong, and he was the one that stuck his neck out there for her. Shout out to Scott, right? I don't know who the hell you are, but shout out to you, because it sucks that it had to be you to put your neck out there for another sister, right? Because it should have been him. But this is what I'm talking about a team and network of people, because you need balance. There's no such thing of one man show, and there's no such thing of a whole bunch of lap dogs, right? You need balance. And I'm sure Scott was that piece of balance that the woman needed, because Carlos, I say it all the time, in my opinion, do not respect women at all. That's why we are where we are today. Okay. Long story short, Winter says she's go to him for, a lot of things, and he was able to orchestrate and work some things out to her. And she says that while Carlos over there patting himself on the back, don't miss this. She says that Scott was the one that contacted her and says, hey, listen, Winter, if you do not agree, or they cannot secure that you'll be coming back, there won't be another season. So when people are asking, well, why did Winter, if it was so bad, come back for another season? Well, this is why. She had respect for Scott. Scott respected her. She felt like Scott was in the mix of it all. So if Scott was in the mix, that if she had any of these problems, she could always go to Scott and work those things out. But what she did not know is that Scott will soon no longer be a part of Kingdom Reign production any longer, right? So here we are now where she go to reach out to Scott for something else. And Scott's like, oh man, I wish I could help you, Winter, but I left back in such and such. We talk about months. So now, at this point when she contacted him, he was like, I was going like way back when, right? I'm sorry that you are experiencing this and I wish I can help you, but I am no longer a part of the company. I've returned back to what I was doing prior to. So that had to suck. So I guess she kind of had her hands tied, like she wanted to make it work if she had somebody to stick it out for her. But now that she didn't, she knew that there was no reasoning with, Carlos King. And there sure isn't, right? Because nothing has changed. Even now that all this stuff is coming out, he likes to hide under focus on God, and God will do this and God will do. You need to stop. God ain't in your mess, all right? But this is what he's hiding behind. These quotes and, friends that don't tell you and pop you on your hand and says, nah, you need to make this right. You got too many people out here painting you out to be this way, and everybody's not lying on you, right? He needs some people in his corner like that. But because he didn't have anybody in his corner like that, or maybe he do, he just don't listen to him. I don't know. But I don't like friends like that. I got to distance myself, right? But with that being said, Winter's like, nah, I know this is not going to get anywhere. And she says goodbye as well, okay? Here we are now to our third point where they start talking about another show, right? And this is another bomb. Boom, you hear me? Y'all like my sound effects? Ah! Anyway, let's get back to it, okay? So here's the thing where they start talking about another person on another show has reached out to Queen and told Queen that basically in the conversation they were having, because I don't know the stem of the conversation and where it started from, but I can just assume that it was probably stemmed around all this controversy about black women being dogged out by Carlos King and not feeling protected, right? Because this individual go on to tell Queen, according to Queen Report, that hey, I know exactly what you're talking about because I have a significant other. I brought my significant other with me to the reunion, just for protection, and my significant other was sent home. One, because Carlos King and his production team didn't want the world to know that I actually am with someone, and they wanted to continue to have me in this lie that I was a single person fighting all these men up against me, right? So they sent my protection home and allowed that individual to stay, or they sent the protection home for the individual, which would have been her significant other, and they allowed me to stay. And it's like, are you really that crazy that you would put somebody's in harm's way just to paint a storyline? But I think you are. And at the moment I thought about, but I have seen people say and argue back, cast members from different shows of his argue back and forth on Twitter, like if y'all only knew the half of it, right? And now that all these stories are coming out, I'm like, dang, Carlos, I understand reality TV. I understand that you have a talent, but I don't understand the willingness or the willing participation to dog us out. And I say that all the time. If you have a man willing to dog another woman out, multiple women, many of times, I have no other choice but to believe you don't like your mama. Okay? You don't like your mama. You don't have a relationship with your mama, or maybe you did. I don't know the story behind your mama, but this is definitely a mama and son issue, okay? Because if you respect your mom, it starts with your mom, period. Okay? If you respect your mama, you would do better. All right. So now we are at the point where, now here's the final portion of this message, right? Winter goes on to explain that, and let me put this out there. The reason why I believe that Carlos did not tell the cast prior to that Scott was leaving, because he knew that he would get a lot of pushback, right? And he did not want them to walk away before he got everything out of them that he can suck out of them, okay? So while they should have been full warning that he isn't there, and if Winter would have never texted him for her own personal reason, Carlos wouldn't have said anything, right? That sucks. With that being said, here's the jawbreaker right here, okay? Winter says that when she was interviewing with Queen Sheba a little while back, she could have brought so much more out, but Queen stopped her. Queen asked her, like, you know, are you happy that we kind of moved this way? And she's like, yes. Because whether it comes out on, you know, on the public side or, you know, legally, everybody has their day, okay? And they do. That's why I don't recommend selling your soul for fame, okay? Because everybody has their day. And if you are a willing participant, when that person go down, so the hell are you, right? You're not going to stay dry while they drowning. You're going to get in that thing and drown with them, right? So that's why you don't sell your soul. And from the paycheck that Winter is telling us about, she says that there are 10 episodes, $250 per episode, a total of $2,500 that they are making in that season. Baby, that is chump change. Y'all don't let nobody make a mockery out of you just to say I'm on television, okay? Don't let nobody do that. Now, she says that, you know, besides Love and Marriage Huntsville, everybody else is underpaid. And so I had to think about Marceau and them saying that Marceau worked at a movie theater line before he got on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Well, if he worked at a movie theater line and he was making $250 in the beginning, he should have probably stayed at the movies and collectively put those checks together. He would have been okay. So that explains, and I'm not giving a pass for scamming or anything like that, but that explains why them folks was living so poorly. They ain't have it. Shame on you, sir, while you run around here in your gator shoes. Listen, guys, that's all I have for you now. But you know I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And remember, don't you let nobody tell you nothing different. Until next time, bye.